Hello and welcome. It is time once again to try to fix something, and today we're taking a look at another PS5. I think this one is simply going to be a no video, so maybe not very interesting. Let me take a look right quick. Look at that HDMI port that is destroyed, and I'm pretty sure somebody's been into it because that screw was rolling around on the bottom of the box. So yeah, somebody's been into it. I don't know what they've done or tried to do. But let's get on into it. Maybe this will be interesting, maybe it won't. We'll find out. All right, I guess before I take it too far apart, let's just see if it'll turn on. I'm not going to bother trying to hook an HDMI cable to it. That port's destroyed. Let's see if she turns on, though. Oh. So it's a twofer. No power and no HDMI port. Okay, that's surprising. I didn't realize this one was going to be a no power. Should probably go back and look at that listing. But yeah, we're pretty dead. So that leaves all kind of possibilities of what could have happened to this thing. Yeah. This is a 1015 or 1115. Can't get it to focus. 1015. Okay, 1015. Okay then. Unexpected this is. Let me get into it. We'll get the board out of it and let's just see how bad it is. Okay, while I'm taking it apart, why is the 4-pin ribbon missing for the Blu-ray drive? Very suspicious. Hope I have one of those. I think I do. Somewhere in a bag of parts. Like that. Yeah, one of those. Yeah, okay. I do have one. If we come to need it. Let me get on into it. Alright, we are in a little deeper, and now I'm noticing the Wi-Fi antennas are missing off of the power supply. The antenna that goes down here on the edge of the power supply and runs around and should be plugged in there is gone. Yeah, this one's full of surprises. I still got power hooked to it, come to think of it. Okay. How far did they go? Well, the metal shield is off, and yeah, somebody's definitely been in here. Look at that mark around that chip on the board. This thing, by the way, this whole PlayStation 5 reeks of vape juice. I mean, you can just smell somebody's been vaping around this thing heavily, and it just reeks of it. So, I could try putting another power supply in there, or at least let's just see if we can plug it up and see if we have 12 volts here. Let me get everything set up. All right, I got my meter set up. See what we get here. Yep, we have 12 volts. So not going to be that simple. Let's just see. Do a quick check. What do we not have, I wonder? We have 5 volts. Okay. Let's see. The chip I want to see is on the other side of the board, I do believe. We can probably check what is this? That's 5 volts going into that chip. I believe it outputs 2 volts on the other side, if I can get on the right place. I need a little bit more light than I have here. Is it there? Nothing coming out. Make a note of that. I believe that outputs 2 volts. Okay. Alright, let me get it completely out of the shell here, and we'll get it inside where we can see better. Alright, I have this board out. It almost looks like it's been liquid damaged. That's what it looks like. And look at the bottom half of the chassis there. Rust. That's looking like liquid damage. Could that be from the vape juice, I wonder? I've just never seen that before. APU got a little bit of a dry spot. Not surprising. Let's get it inside. All right, let's get this thing in here. Wow, I've just never seen that discoloration like that before. Let me see how much current this thing is drawing. It's a good place to start. All right, so we are pulling very little current. I'll show you again here. And you can see the graph there. Little spike there when I turn it off and on. Like, there's power on. That's it. So, does that sound familiar? I'm trying to remember. I would say a short somewhere. Not on the main 5-volt rail. We've checked that. Let's see. Go ahead and give it 12 volts. Let's just turn that off. There's got to be a short. Let's just look for the short. It has to be a rather obvious short. Somebody's had the APU cover off here. Oh, that's not good. You hate to see that. Alright, we don't have a short on 5 volts. We saw 5 volts out there in the garage. How about around this HDMI IC? I'm just checking a couple of these small capacitors around this. See anything? What about this supply over here? 3.3? No? Let me check this fuse. F7003. It's good. Kind of expecting to see a short on one of these rails. It's generated down here. Something I haven't really looked yet. See if somebody has removed a chip somewhere. Nothing obvious on this. This is the 3.3 rail right there, and this is like what is it, 1.8, 1.15, something like that. No obvious shorts around this chip, though. It's a little surprising. How about around our south bridge? Let's look on the back side of the board here around that south bridge area. Is that beeper working? Yep. Nothing, nothing, nothing. That's ground. There's another fuse, F7002. It's good. Around our SSD controller power supply. That's just me hitting ground. No obvious shorts. See another DC-DC converter right there. Nothing obvious. I did not check under the Wi-Fi, Bluetooth Wi-Fi chip while I had it. But I think I would have, if there was a short on this, I think I would have ran across it already looking elsewhere. Just hitting these little capacitors down here on the rails, which I believe is a 1.8 and a 3.3 on this model. That's ground on that side. So no obvious shorts there. Okay. Let's give it some power then and just see what rails we have and what rails we don't have. Yep, 12 volts, 3 amps. So yeah, we obviously have 12 volts coming in here. We have 5 volts here. Do we have 3.3 here? We do not have 3.3. All right, that's a problem. Do we have, yeah, we have 5 volts coming into this chip. Comes in 2 places, I seem to remember, yep. That looks normal. What's this over here? This dialogue chip doesn't seem to be doing anything at all. There's 5 volts coming in there. Like all of the rails seem to be missing around this thing. It's getting input power, but it's not doing anything, putting anything out. Yeah, I can, even if I have a microscope, I can't read it. It says dialogue, so this is going to be the dialogue chip, not the rich tech. And that is a DA9065 is what should be there. And that's just kind of, I've never seen one of these fail, I don't think. I've seen, you know, we've had shorts measured there before because of, you know, of what they feed. Yeah, we're not getting any standby voltages other than 5 volts. So that could be an issue. That will give you a, you know, 3 milliamp current draw. Okay. Let's look at this. I'll look at this under the microscope. All right, well, I've got my microscope camera finally set up. We're going to be taking a look under the microscope into this area right here, the DA9065, which is responsible for making mini standby voltages for the PS5. And we had nothing, absolutely nothing coming out. But we are getting 5 volts in. Now you have 5 volts coming in up here through this fuse. So it comes in here and it comes in, there's a via down here, it comes in here also. 5 volts coming in, it's there. So how does it get enabled? Because, yeah, this generates the 3.3 volts, should be making 3.3 right here, which would then also be used by the flash memory, the NOR down here. That needs that 3.3 for this thing to be able to, for the South Bridge to be able to load its software. So I think what's happening, if we look at the other side, I'm going to flip this board over and look at the exact opposite of that area. There's another DC-DC converter there with some rust going on that coil. And I have a feeling this is our problem. I was looking at another EDM10 board just to confirm, because I could not remember what this circuit does. It takes in 5 volts right up here and basically outputs 2 volts, 1.98 it seems to usually run over here. And when I checked this board, it was taking in 5 volts and outputting 5 volts, which is probably not good. And where did that voltage then go? It should be down. It should be 2 volts right down here on this test pad. It goes to the board, And right here is that DA9065 on the other side. I believe that's going to be some kind of enable to this DA9065. It goes in on two places on the DA9065. And it probably should not have gotten 5 volts. So that DA9065 could be dead. But this thing here, this SBV chip, is definitely dead. Let me check. I was getting 5 volts in and 5 volts out. Let me go to continuity mode. So if we go from the input to the output, I'm not reading a short. Wait a minute, is that the right place? Yeah. I'm not reading a short. But I swear it was outputting 5 volts. Which is about 3 volts too much. Now, it's possible some of these resistors could have gone bad. You know, like this is a, can be adjusted to output whatever voltage you'd like based upon these feedback resistors. I'm going to guess this part right in here. Because if you look, you've got, if I can show you, here's where the output voltage would be. Through a resistor here, through another resistor to ground. So that's going to be a divider network for the feedback into this chip. That's going to determine what it outputs. I don't know why it would ever output 5 volts. There's also corrosion on those legs. I'm not sure how well it shows up on the camera. You can see that one pin is really dark down in there. But none of them look totally eaten in two. But I think I am going to start. I do have some of these chips. I think I will just start off by replacing that SBV, which is a Texas Instruments DC-DC converter. I see I have a drawer full of them right here. Yep. Looks like I've only used one of them. Let's see if we can get this changed out, shall we? These don't seem to fail very often, but this one may have had a little help from some liquid damage, looks like. Let's get it changed out and see if we still get 5 volts in and 5 volts out. I hope not. Either way, I have a feeling our DA9065 is probably not well. I may have to raise my heat up. I'm at 400 Celsius right now. But these DC-DC converter chips always have pretty good ground planes under them for heat dissipation. And they do their job well. He's coming. Yeah, no corrosion under it. Which way was this thing turned? Like that. Oh yeah, there's an arrow down there in that bottom left corner. Maybe a little more flux. And maybe hit those pads with some fresh leaded solder. Way too much on that center pad. I should probably get some of that off. If we can get a little bit of that off. We'll go with that for now. Got a fresh SBV chip. Find my tweezers. Get it heated up a little. Jumped into place. Gives it a little bit of pressure. This knife blade tip is pretty good for getting down in there. Cleaning up that excess solder on these QFNs. Okay. Let me get some voltage into this thing. Let's see what we're putting out. Oh. Now the board's drawing 300 milliamps. It looks like it just booted. Let me get the camera set back up. Well, you can see. Just a moment. Alright, if I can show you, this is the chip I just changed out. That SBV chip, which is on the exact opposite side of the board from our DA9065 right here. And that SBV chip should have been making 2 volts, which I believe it is now. Let me hook my, trying to get my leads hooked back up. So, all right, let me show you what it's doing now as far as current draw. Look there, 300, and back down. You can see it on the graph right there. So that looks normal. I think we are booting, initializing, whatever you want to call it. There was an area back over here we noticed earlier that somebody had circled it. And I've looked at that under the microscope, and there's a little bit of corrosion in the area. Not too bad, but I didn't really focus on that area because that should not be involved with the initialization, the boot up of the system. It had nothing to do with the standby supplies. So that's why I have not touched that area yet. May still need to if we still have an issue when it goes to turn on. But yeah, there's the chip that had died, and it does look like there's been some corrosion there. You can see that that coil there was discolored. So, but yeah, I think I need to change an HDMI port before we can really do any real testing, because that's in a sad state. All right, no one's attempted to change it. Doesn't look like, though. I guess kind of like me, they didn't. Why bother changing the HDMI port if it doesn't turn on? Yeah, I don't think that's been messed with, has it? Can we tell? Anyway, all right, let's get that changed out, and then we'll take it out in the garage, and we'll test it. And if everything works, then a deep cleaning is coming. Well, here we are back out in the garage. I think we're about ready to test this. I did clean up the liquid metal, redistribute that, get rid of those dry spots. And I also, this chip here had the marker around it where somebody was highlighting some corrosion. I did lift that chip. It was labeled PIZI. It's another Texas Instruments DC-DC converter. There was corrosion in the area, but it didn't look that bad. But one of the legs on the IC itself, it looked like the solder had gotten eroded away. So just to be sure, I did lift that chip, clean up the solder underneath, put the same chip back down, and it looks a lot better now, so maybe that won't be a problem for us. But does she work? Let's find out. That's good. Fan spin. Do we have video? Not yet, we don't. Not yet, we don't. Just a flashing blue light. Oh, I saw it lock. There we go. All right, we're doing a storage check. All right, this is looking promising. Yeah, I've just got a lot more cleanup to do, though. Trying to get rid of some of these signs of corrosion. It won't all come off, but I'll get off what I can, and this whole chassis, the plastic parts are going to go in the bathtub with some soapy water to try to get rid of some of this smell of what I assume is vape juice. There we go. All right, let me do some more cleanup, and we'll reassemble this and see how well it works. Well, this PS5 is fully reassembled. It's been cleaned up rather well. Looking good. I've got a game in it playing. I think she's going to be just fine. So, not too bad of a failure. I hope you thought that was somewhat interesting and educational. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. And I will see you in the very next repair. So long for now.